Okay, so today, till now we have covered class, its data members. Today we'll start from class methods. Okay, let me just open the developer console. So I'm just creating a new class so that I can demo you the data methods, class methods. So I'm just naming it as class method. You can see the class is now ready. So let me just write down the syntax first in comment, and then we will implement a method, right? So first of all, the first thing that will come is your access specifier, right? So how you can want to access this. So we have um, four type of access specifiers in for data members. One is public. You can also create private data members. So the second one is private. You can also create protected data members because we can use inheritance. Protected data members, sorry, we can use protected access specifier, and then we have global. So global will be used if you want to access it outside of this particular org, right? And then we have another thing that is override. So you can simply ignore it for right now. We will discuss override when I will actually discuss virtual and override both. So I'm just writing it here. You can use override as in data members, and then if we have our method as static, so we can use static also. And then the return type of I mean return data type, return type of method. That's the next thing that we will probably have in the method, right? And then the method name, then the method name we have sco- and then in the brackets we have input parameters, input parameters. So this will be the syntax of the method, and this will be the scope. uh, so if I will use this will be the scope. This will be the scope of the method, right? So method will start from here, and its logic will end here. So, and the entire body will come under here, under this scope, body of the method. So this is the syntax of the method. Whenever you will create a method, this will be the syntax. So first you need to type either public, private, protected, or global. Protected we'll discuss slightly later, probably in next class when we will discuss inheritance. Public means like this class can be used, sorry, this method can be used anywhere in this current org, right? So if you want to use this class method outside of this class, then you can use public, either via creating an object of this class, or either way. I mean, you if you want to use the method outside of this particular class, you can use public access specifier. Then private methods can only be used within the scope of the class, right? You cannot use this method outside of the class if you will use private access specifier. Then we have protected, as I said, we'll discuss slightly later. Then we have global. So probably we use global for our web services. Whenever you want to use your method outside of your class or as well as your org. I mean that Salesforce instance you have. So whenever you want to use in that way, then only you will use global. Another thing is you can see here is override, right? Override. We will use virtual override. We will discuss probably in next class, right? So I'm just you know leaving it for now. And then we have static, right? Static basically whenever you don't want to use the method by creating the object of the class, you will use static. So whenever we use static as a keyword, it means um, I will not explain static in a complete detail for now, but if there is a method that has static written before the method name, it means like you can use that method without creating an object of that class. So we will discuss how we will get memory of the static methods. Basically, it get memory in CPU registers. That is why we don't have that concept of heap and stack. Uh, the memory will not come from heap to stack. Static methods can directly be accessed using class name. And then the return type, if the method is returning anything, then we will use return type, either integer, string, or any data type we have. We can have the return type of the method if the method is returning any value, and then the main method name. And if the method is not returning any value, then we will use void here. And then the method name, it can be anything based on your logic, and as many parameters as you have, you can put those parameters here. And the method body will start here and will end here. So curly braces will represent the method body, and the entire logic will be written here. Any question from anyone? Guys, any question? No? Yes? Anything?
No, sir.
No,
Okay.
sir. Sir,
Okay.
how the memory will be allocated in static?
Probably we'll discuss it in detail, but it get
Okay.
in CPU register. So
Okay. Okay.
whenever you have a static keyword written, so basically in server CPU register, it get memory, so it can be directly, and in registers we have direct address. So you don't have to create the object of that class to access that static method or a static variable. It can be directly accessed by just using class name dot method name, and you can directly access it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's just create one method that will get two parameters, and it will return the sum of these two parameters, right? So let me just so, so the again, the first thing that we will use is we will create the object of this class outside of this class. So we will use public as an access modifier, and then we we don't want to create it as either via override or static. We will just pass the return type. So I'm just returning the sum of the two integers, so I will return it as an integer as a data type, and then I'm just naming it as sum, and it is getting two parameters, integer, sorry, integer a comma integer b. These are the two parameters that I will get from the user, and then probably this will be the body of the method, and it will return is the actual keyword that you will use to return the value. So we have this return type integer, this one, and then we will use return keyword, and here we will use a plus b. So basically this will be our business logic. So it will whenever we'll get the two inputs, integer a and integer b, it will return the a plus b, and this is the value that we are returning, that is integer. So we have the integer as an data type here. So it is a very simple method we have created. So let's see how we can access this method. um, from this class. As we know, like class is just a container. So if you want to actually perform the action on this method, you have to call this method outside of the class. Or okay, I'm just saving it. So I have just hit control dot save. It is getting saved, so you can see here, and now it is saved, right? So we will execute this class and the method from the execute anonymous window, because we don't have any UI right now. Later on, probably I will show you with the UI when we will actually discuss LWC. Okay, so now here we will create the object of the class first, because in order to access the class members, we just need to create an object of the class, because we don't have our class as static, right? So I'm just creating a class, a variable that is class type. So we have class method as in class name, and obj is the variable of class type, and we are just allocating new memory to it, and we are just calling the constructor. Constructor we will discuss today only in the later part of this class, and this is the constructor that we are calling. We don't have any constructor created by us, right? So but if you are not creating any constructor, Salesforce provided, or you can say the compiler generally provide a constructor, not only in Apex, in any language. So constructor is provided by the compiler. So you don't, if you are creating, then the say by default constructor will not be provided by the compiler. So we'll discuss that in the later part of this class. So I have created the object of this class, and then by using obj dot, so you can just create a picture in your mind, that from our first class. Now what is happening, class is stored in the heap, and there is a new memory allocated in the stack with the name of obj, and whatever we have in the class, that is now stored in the new memory location, and that is pointed by obj. So whenever I will use obj dot, I can access all the things, all the members stored in obj memory location. So now I will call sum, obj.sum, and here I need to provide the two values in order to get the sum of those values, right? So I'm providing it 60 plus 60 comma 40. These are the two parameters we are asking here, and I am just providing these two parameters like here, and this method will return the sum of this that I need to store in a variable. So I'm just creating a variable called result, and I'm just storing the sum in the result, and I will print result by system.debug, so that you can see the output. Okay, so we any question from anyone till now? Guys, just say
No.
yes, no if you have any question, else we'll proceed further.
No.
Okay, let's move ahead then. Let's run this method. Okay, we method is executed. We need to see the value. I mean, we need to see the debug statement. So we will use this debug only, as we discussed in earlier classes. So as soon as we clicked on this debug only, our debug statement is coming here. The sum of these two values is 100. So our our method is working perfectly. We have passed 60 and 40. These are the two values, and method is returning the sum of these two values, that is 100. So any value you will pass here, so let's say 600 plus 40, any value you will pass, your method will return the sum of these values. 640. So this is how you can create a method. We will going forward we will create more complex methods and we'll discuss, but right now I will just show you how you can execute or create a method. Second thing is how you can uh, create your statements, if else statements, conditional statement. So let me just show you how you can do that. I'm just commenting out this method also. So for multi-line comments, you can use star and slash. This is how you can use multi-line comment, or for single line comment, you can use like this, right? So let me just show you how you can create if a conditional statement, if else statement in Apex, right? And this is the syntax for that. So you need to use if as an keyword for the if else statement, and then your boolean condition should be here. So the condition will come like any other language in the if block, and then your statement, whatever the statement you will write, so your statement will come here, statement 1. And if your boolean condition is not true, then it will go to else and your statement 2 will be executed. I hope you guys are already aware about it, but it is for those who haven't learned any language till now. So this is how it works. So first, whatever the condition we will pass here, if that is true, then our statement 1 will be executed, and if this will be false, it will go to else, and then only the statement 2 will be executed. Any doubt from anyone? So if we will go with an example, so let me just declare um, integer x, and these are the two variables that I am declaring. Let's say sign. These are the two variables, integer type variables I have declared. And let me just write some code. If x less than equals to 0, this is the statement. And if there is another, if you want to write, if x equals to 0, then what it should be executed, then it should go sign. I'm just assigning the sign, the value in the sign, that will be 0. And if these two statements are not true, then it should go to else, and the sign should be -1. So this is how we execute our if statements. I hope you understand it.
Yes.
So, I mean, I have just written it in a single line. It should be equal to like this. Let me just simplify it. If I will write it like this, if x less than 0, and then I'm just creating a bigger scope here, and then again using a if condition under this if condition here. If x equals to 0, then this statement will be true. Like I will assign the sign equals to 0, and then we are using else here, and then we will assign sign equals to -1. So this is how I mean you can write this, and this is the single way to write it. Okay, so now you can also have repeated else if. I mean, currently we have only demo if else condition, but you can also have if else in a repeated manner. So let me just write an example of repeated else if. This is an example of repeated else if. Writing if. Let's just assume place is in variable. Place equals to 1. Then just write medal color equals to gold. If somebody is coming on first place, then his medal color will be gold, right? And let's say another condition we have else if. This is if you have multiple if else condition, then you can use else if place equals to 2, 2, then you can have medal color equal to silver. Then again you can also have one else if place equal to 3, 3, then the medal color will be bronze. Bronze. And then last the condition. I mean, if you are not coming on place number 1, 2, or 3, then the medal color will be null. I mean, if any of these conditions are not true, then you can simply type medal color. If you can pass the value in the medal color will be null. So basically how it will work, it will first check if the place number 1, if the place is actually having the value as 1, then it will only execute this. If the value in the place, then if it is not true, then it will come to here. It will check if the value of place is equal to true, then only it will return this. It will execute this. But if both of these two conditions are not true, then it will come to 3, condition number third. If place is equal to 3, then it will execute this. And if any of these conditions are not true, it will come to else and it will pass null in the middle. Any question from anyone?
Nice.
Okay. Let me just show you the loops. So basically Apex support 5 type of loops. So we will discuss these 5 type of loops, which one these are. The first type of loop that Apex support is do while. So you guys has so the syntax I'm also writing. The first type of loop is do while loop. So basically do the statement, and then in the do block we have a statement whatever we want to execute while if the boolean condition is true. If the boolean condition is true, so we will pass the boolean condition in while. If the boolean condition is true, this is the first type of loop that is supported by Apex. And the second type of loop that is supported by Apex is while loop. So basically, it's a subset of do while loop. So while and the boolean condition, whatever the Boolean condition you have. Boolean condition and the whatever the statement you want to execute. Thereafter, you will have this, that is statement. Okay. And then the third type of loop we have is for loop, right? So that traditional for loop. So it has three things. The first one is the initialization variable. I mean the initial variable. So I will type it as initialization. First thing that you will do initialization. And then second parameter that you will pass in the Boolean exit condition from where your loop will be exit. And then the increment. The third parameter that you will pass is the increment. And then your statement, whatever the statement you want to run, that will come under the scope of that loop. The fourth type of loop that is supported by, we call it as for each loop, but the syntax is not for each. The syntax will stay as for, but in .NET or Java or any other language, I have learned .NET, so in C Sharp, we call it as in for each loop, but we will run it on collection, so we'll discuss it, how you can, you know, run it. So the another is the variable, and the if there is an array or collection, that you want to run. So I'm just typing collection here. So the variable should be type related to the type of collection that you want to run, and your statement will be executed thereafter, right? And the fifth type of loop, it is again this the same loop that is here, but we will not pass collection directly. We will pass the inline SOQL query directly in the loop. So that is the fifth type of loop we have. So I'm just writing the syntax here. This is again the same loop. So variable will become here, and your inline query will come here. Inline SOQL query will come here. Inline SQL query will come here, and then your statement will be executed thereafter. So, I mean, these five types of loop we support in Apex, right? And just to control the structure, we also support break and continue. So we support break if you want to break the loop. I mean, if you want to exit from the entire loop, then we use break keyword. Loop, and then another is continue. Continue is if you want to skip the next iteration of the loop. We'll discuss that. So these are the type of loop we have, and you can create these. I mean these loop. If you want me, I can write the syntax directly here. You will do more practice when we will actually um, work on these loops. So here you can write whatever you want to do, and based on the condition, let's say we have one integer here, integer count is equals to 1. So this is the variable that I have, and if I'm just typing here the statement that I want to execute. I would just want to system.debug, then count whatever the value in the count that will be debug, that will be used in the system.debug, and I'm just doing increment on the count plus plus, and in the do while loop, in the while, I will type the condition as if count less than 100, it will print. If count less than 11, let's say, so it will type 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, right? So this is how you can write do while loop, right? Any question, guys?
No, sir.
Okay. And similarly, I mean, in the while loop, instead of do, you will write the condition. I mean, let's say if I will write the while loop here, in the similar way you can write the while loop. Let's say if I have integer count equals to 1, and let's say while count less than 11, do what? Do the same thing. System dot debug count. I mean, we are doing the same thing in a different way. Then we will do count plus plus. This is the statement we will execute in the while loop. Any question, guys? Any question from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. This one, you can also write the loop like this. If I will write an example here, for let's say integer I is equals to 0. So it will start from I is equals to 0, and let's say I less than 100, and then I plus plus. This will be the increment, and let's say if I want to, let's say if I want to print I, so system dot debug, I just want to print I, so it will execute. So first it will check the value of I is 0. It will check 0 is less than 100. It will print I, and then it will go to I plus plus. Then again the value will be 1. So it will print 0 to 99 here if you will execute this code, right? So this is how you can write this type of loop. And then the collection loop. So for the collection loop, I will have slightly a bigger code. Let me just write it down like this. Uh, let's say if I have a list of account, or let's say list of string, I mean string type of list. We have already discussed string. What is list? So this is the variable of list, and to new list. And if I want to add values in the list, right? Or um, let's say if I have some values in the list and I want to print those values one by one. So what I will do is, let's say list dot add, we have uh, Prateek. Let's say we have couple of values. and we can have, sorry guys, just give me 1 sec. You cannot see my screen, right?
नहीं सर,
Can you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
now?
right.
अब
Yes.
दिख
Yes.
रही है.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me just type some more values here. Say Arun. Say she. Say Somit. And let's say Aryan. And if you want to print this through loops, so you can write the collection loop like this. So our collection is type of a string. So you can declare a string variable here and this column, and you can directly put the collection name here. And what it will do is it will go from one index number 0 to the last index in the collection without passing any increment or decrement, or specifically define any increment to decrement thing in the loop itself. So it is a collection loop, and whatever you want to print, you can print here like this. So you can print as directly here, and it will run 1 2 3 4 5 times, and it will print all these values those we have in the collection. So this is a collection type of variable, I mean loop. We will discuss it in detail. I mean, we will use it a lot in our daily coding practices. And the another one is also similar. So instead of you know assigning the value, let's say if you are getting some data from the database, so you can simply put the query directly here. So if you know, let's say the data that is coming from the database, that is coming from account table, so you can simply declare a variable as an account type, and you can write your query directly in the loop itself. So as you guys are not aware how to write the query, so you can ignore it, but it is the same collection type of loop, but we will use it. I'm just writing a query. Let's say select ID, comma name. It is like SQL only. If you guys have studied SQL in your BTech, BC, or whatever you have done, so you can simply compare it with that. But if you are not aware, just leave it for now. We will discuss it. So this is how, so whatever the query will return, that will be the account type. So this account variable will iterate that query data. So query in Salesforce, query will always return a list. So that is why it is a correction type of loop only, and you can simply print whatever that is coming from the loop using system.debug. So either you can put directly A or A.id or whatever you want to. So let's say A.id, comma A.name or whatever you want to do. Right? So here you can, this is how you can create loops. Any question from anyone? So I think we have covered most of the part, and then from tomorrow class we will discuss constructor and our OOPS concept like polymorphism, abstraction, inheritance, and then we will also discuss virtual and abstract keywords and override keyword uh, by from tomorrow onwards. Any question from anyone?
No.
Okay, taking it as no. I will share the recording on YouTube, so you can, if you want, if